Okay, so we have Brian as your name is pronounced Spagnola?
Spagnola.
Spagnola. So Brian, thank you so much for joining us, America's Pastime. This is another partnership. And again, we're trying to target groups that are predominantly based or at least compete in New York, that they spend a good amount of time in New York. So can you tell us a little bit about America's Pastime?
Yeah, first, thanks for having me. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk to everybody. So I'm the name, first of all, I'm in the baseball business. So thus the name America's Pastime and our Silks logo, which is kind of a baseball in the middle that it always catches their eyes. But we've been a syndicate for 3 years now. And honestly, we started out just as a kind of a small time operation, and we've had a lot of success, and we've grown in 3 years. We're going to hit $2 million in purses soon. And we started out with 1 or 2 horses, and since then we've grown. Currently, we have 27 horses. We have that race. We have 7 or 8 brood mares and some babies and stallion shares, and you name it. It's kind of exploded beyond what we thought it was going to, and we're kind of proud of that. And I think that we kind of credit that to the experience we give everybody and the success that we've been having. So we're very happy with where we're at right now.
So the basic model, and I asked this a little bit earlier, the basic model of your partnership specifically, how does it vary or how does it differ from other groups, or are there similarities? Like how are you guys set up?
I think we're pretty similar. We offer small percentages. 3% is what we always try to start people at. And honestly, what we find from people as they get in, and we mostly claim. That's typically what we do, is we claim horses. What we found is the partners that we get into, and we're all blue collar people in our group. So they really want the action, and they like to claim a horse, and 2 weeks later run it back. As opposed to getting a baby and waiting, and not that we don't do that as well, but that's the majority of what we do. So what we've found is guys will get in, they want to get 1 or 2 horses, but as we all know, it's kind of addicting. And as we're sending out text messages or whatever that we're claiming horses, there's a few guys, they started out with 1 or 2, and they just texted me and they said, I have 20 horses right now, and I never, I don't know where that came from. So sometimes when people start to get spread out a little bit, we even let them go in a little bit lower percentage. But what we found is, the success that we've had, and as you know, anybody can buy 2 or 3 horses and have no success. But we find that, and we try to get our people to spread out a little bit, because we've actually done well with that, and we think it kind of protects them a little bit more. So I've had people say they want to buy 10 or 15%, and I say, listen, why don't you buy a little bit less and get a few more, just to protect yourself a little bit. So I think it's a similar model than most other syndicates have as well.
Okay, and actually Len had asked a question earlier about fees. Specifically for the other groups. I'll just ask it again because I thought it was a very valid point for any racing partnership. How are your fees set up in your with your group?
Yeah, again, I think it's similar. We're going to change them starting the first of the year. It's going to be $450 quarterly, and we do the same. I heard Mike at the end there. We take 10% of the purse. We take it right off the top of that. But we like to think that we give a lot of perks back. This is not our full-time job. So obviously anything you do, we put a lot of time into it. But we're not in it to get rich or make money. We're really concerned with our partners' money, and our trainers are as well, and I'll talk about them a little bit. But so our 2 big goals are really to have people get the entertainment, as well as to protect their money, and that's kind of what we do. So it's not we don't have anything hidden. Everything we do is up front, and there's nothing. One of the things, we've had over 100 partners, and nobody's ever questioned anything we've done financially, which that's one of the things we're really proud of, and we try to be transparent about.
Okay, very good. And you mentioned your trainers. Who are your trainers, and where do your horses race predominantly?
Okay, so we started out 100% in the New York circuit, and we used John Kimmel a little bit when we had a few younger horses, but currently we have all claiming horses. So we use Mercan Cantermazzi. So Mercan is, to people that follow racing know him, but the Cantermazzi, so their dad, they're 2 young guys, they're brothers, Mercan and Ilkay, and they're from Turkey, and their dad was the top trainer in Turkey for many, many years. and they came here to America about 7 years ago. And they started at Parks and did really well. And now they came here, and the dad actually helps them as well. But they're as far as people, I mean, they've become a huge part of like my family. I mean, they're at my house. We stay overnight. We stay over at their house. I literally talk to them probably 5 or 6 times a day. My wife actually says, you talk to them more than you talk to me. But they only have one other owner, Bob Amendola, and we have all the rest with them. And they actually buy 50% of every horse that we have. And it's not any kind of special deal. They're just 50% owners. So they get 50% of purses, pay 50% of bills. So they're really vested. They don't care about their winning percentage and things like that. They don't drop horses in class just to get a win. I mean, anything that they do is with our financial interest at heart, because it also affects them. So, but we have raced all at New York. Now, we did start a little string over at Parks. And the reason why we did that last year is, as we all know, sometimes you make a claim and it doesn't work out. So rather than carry a horse at New York, we move them to Parks where they can run a little bit cheaper. Sometimes we lose the horse, or at least they make their way. So we had sent a few horses there, and we hired a little staff. So we try to keep 5 or 6 horses over there so we don't have to lay people off. So they kind of have a little string over there. And matter of fact, the last 2 weeks we've run at Parks like 6 times. But we only have Parks as a kind of a backup. We predominantly run everything at New York all winter. We do claim some horses at Keeneland. We've claimed probably 10 horses there, but we haven't even raced there. Everyone comes back to New York. So.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? If anybody has questions as we go along, I think Len does. 1 second. Let's get his mic. Len, if you just want to open up your mic, we're ready for you.
I don't know.
Oh, there you are. You're up.
Okay, now, again, for everybody's knowledge, okay, there's a real advantage, okay, to having the trainer own part of a horse, because he has a vested interest in it. Number 2, it's very, very important also, okay, that you get a young trainer sometime for these types of events, because you can then call them or speak to them through Brian, whereas the larger trainers have a much bigger operation, and they move on to stakes and what have you. So again, in the beginning, this is a great way to get started at a reduced price, okay? And the idea of spreading your risk over a number of horses is also a smart thing, because again, you're getting the opportunity to spread your risk, etc., kind of thing. And again, the same as we said before, a young trainer like the one you have is really good, because they're really into it, and the only way they can get bigger and get bigger horses is to have some kind of record to be able to show. So I really think that's good. On the other hand, you're going to get Barkley coming on later on, who's trained stake winners and Kentucky Derby winners, etc., kind of thing. So there's a transition of going from the beginning, learning your game, asking the questions, and then if you're successful, also getting into something where you're buying better horses, where if it does win, you have the opportunity to have that glory. So that's the only thing I wanted to point out on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So Len makes a great point, Brian, because it seems like, do you have a lot of members or a lot of your owners that are just starting out? Do you have that, or do you have like a mix?
Yeah, no, a mix, but there's a lot of first-time owners, and we're happy with that, because it's a ton of people we've brought to the industry. And and about our trainers, he talked about them being young and hungry. And the thing with these guys is they have a huge staff there, and they kind of overstaff because they do things the right way. I mean, I look at like the bedding that they used, and when we listen to the paddock report, their horses always report that they look the best out there. But these guys, they get there like everybody else early in the morning. They don't leave till the afternoon. They go back every night themselves to feed. I mean, they have their staff do it, but they go there themselves to make sure it's being done right. And then they call me sometimes 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, because they go back. They live about 10 minutes away, but they go back every night themselves to make sure that every horse ate and did everything the right way. And there's been times they've caught horses with a temperature, and they said, Jesus, a good thing we came. So I mean, they're as hands-on as can be. They're really old school, and they do it the right way. And the funny thing is they get calls constantly because they do well, and people recognize that, but they don't take other owners. So it's not that they don't want, they turn down other owners constantly. They just want to be partners with us. And they had, like I say, Bob Amendola before that, but that's what they want. They just want to build with us. And I've actually asked them about buying young horses and trying to, because I want to get them they have mostly claiming horses, but they're just not about recognition and building. That's what they do for a living, and they make money doing claiming, and that's what they're comfortable with. So it's been a good relationship with them.
So in the claiming game, what would be considered like a really good success for you guys? Like, can you think of something, maybe a horse that you had in the last year or two that was really like a home run, pardon the pun, a home run for you guys?
We have a lot of success stories. We claimed the horse Foxtail last year at Saratoga for $25,000, and we won 2 races at Saratoga and made $130,000 in 6 weeks. There's just this past fall, we claimed 2 horses for, I don't know, 20. We ran it back for 32, got claimed and won. So, we do that a lot. And I'm not telling you there's not stories the other way as well, because there certainly are. But we typically put horses where they can win, because that's how you make money. So we don't usually hold horses for a long period of time. And my wife isn't keen on that, because she gets her favorites, and she tells me, if that horse gets claimed, I'm going to kill you. But it's and it happens. But that's that's the nature of it. But it's it's kind of what we do, and it's how we've been successful.
Okay. And does anybody have any questions for Brian? Hold on a second. I think also, hold on, we got 2 questions.
I would like to add one thing before I get to questions.
Yes,
I think one of the things that we really pride ourselves on is the experience. So we give every horse that you get, we send out a certificate of ownership. We have our media guy make pictures, so you'll get a package in the mail for every horse. We do the first week of every month, we do a conference call. So our trainers will be on, and they go through every horse for about 30 seconds and then do a Q&A after. We have all kind of parties and picnics, and it's everything that we do is free. We send out text messages every time a horse is entered, and within an hour after the horse races, we send a text message, about what the horse did. So I think what our partners really like is that they really feel like they own the horse. And I know, some have had other experiences where they just didn't feel like they own the horse. We send out weekly emails, and some people tell me it's like a novel because it's got so much information in. But you'll get a weekly email about every horse in our stable. Some people like following, even if it's not their own. So I think that's really what people in ours really enjoy and appreciate, is the time that we put into making them feel, like it's really their horse, regardless of what percentage they own.
Okay, Mary, I'm trying. Oh, Mary, there you are. Can you get the first question? Then we've got Len can ask the next
just
question.
one quick question. You said that the quarterly expenses were $450. Is that per horse?
Per horse, correct. So
Okay.
each horse is $450, and obviously it's prorated if we don't have the horse the whole time.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Mary. Len?
And again, just for education, so please don't get anybody think I'm knocking any of these guys, et cetera, kind of thing. It's very important that when you're looking at a partnership to evaluate it, okay, you might look at Mike's first, or say, and it's great, it has all this information in it, but the one that Brian has, okay, actually shows you what their track record has been with wins, et cetera. And that's very, very important in evaluating it. What you're looking for is something similar to what they have, okay? And that is a 15% winning percentage and being in the money, which is first, second, or third, close to 50%. When you see that, that's a gold standard. That's something that really then gives you an opportunity if you go into a partnership like this, okay, after you made sure that it's overcharged by management fees and percentage coming in and percentage going out, et cetera, kind of thing. You look for that kind of percentage of winning or actually being first, second, and third, because that'll give you a good opportunity to make money or at least break even. Okay.
Thank you, Len. Thank you. So that was a glowing endorsement, wasn't it, Brian? But you know,
Thank you. I love it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, so I guess, you know, but I think to your point and what we had said a little bit earlier, all the partnerships, they all, even if they're kind of modeled the same, they're all different. There are differences inherently in all of them. And there are some things that, you know, are different. So I think for you guys, the only thing I want to just end up, because we're kind of running out on time here, but I just wanted to sum up with you guys, the claiming game. I think sometimes people have an impression that obviously the glamour is when you're running in the graded stakes and you're winning like these grade 1 races and stakes races and that type of thing. But there's a lot of fun to be had in the claiming rate. I know our first horse that we had, actually, thanks to Len Green, DJ Stables, we won our first race, and he was a claiming horse now and again. And I was crying when he won. I was just out of my skin when he won at Aqueduct. So just give us a little bit, like, in terms of the claiming races, the fun that can be had with at the claiming level.
Well, I just like it because you know, you don't have to be super patient. You claim a horse, you run it back a few weeks later, and there's nothing like winning. I don't care what race it is. Obviously, you win the Kentucky Derby, I'm sure it's more thrilling. But you know, when we win a race at Saratoga, we've been fortunate. We've won, I think, 8 or 9 races the last 2 years at Saratoga. I mean, you win a race, I don't know, the excitement and the thrill, and all our partners tell us that. And you know, everybody's in the winner's circle. We invite everybody to the paddock. We invite people to the barns. We have, especially at Saratoga, we have barn picnics 3 or 4 times throughout the meet, where, you know, we bring breakfast over and we bring the horses out and things like that. So I don't know, the excitement, I think, with the claiming is, like I say, you get right back at it. You're not waiting 8 or 9 months with setbacks and this and that. And we have setbacks, but, you know, like I say, we spread ourselves out a little bit. So it's you just have constant action. That's what people like. And our biggest thing is, honestly, where we like putting people in the claiming horses is we think it protects your money better. I mean, as we know, you get young horses, and this is not a knock on that, because obviously a lot of people have made a lot of money on it. But, you know, sometimes the money gets, you can lose a lot of money, you know, over a year or two. With a claiming horse, it's right back in. And if the horse isn't any good, you drop it and you hope to lose it. And, you know, we've had, like I say, stories both ways. But, you know, our big thing is, like I say, the entertainment and really protecting our partners' money. A lot of the partners are friends of mine, people from my hometown that I know. So I'm really cognizant and aware of these people I have to see every day. You know, when I go to the store or Walmart or the grocery store, I see a lot of these people. So, you know, it's important to us to protect it. And we're just regular guys, you know, we're approachable. And, you know, I think we're a little bit different. We're, like I say, we're just kind of blue collar group that gets into it to have fun. And like I say, we want to protect your money.
Okay, well, Brian, thank you so much for joining us today. It's, again, very informative segment that we've had, and we will be sending everybody, all of our members will also be watching this on tape, the ones who missed it in real time. So we'll send them all, usher all of them your way, all of your way, when people have the information. We'll share all your information. But thanks again, Brian, for joining us.
Thank you. And happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
You too.